Never ever in the history of the world that exists will SMU be in the Big 12. They have begged Power 5 conferences for a seat at the table. They went to the ACC and said, don't give me food, just give me a seat at the table. Our donors will take care of the food. Our donors, people will give us money. Our endowment will somehow in an athletic budget make enough money to cater to ourselves. Don't give us a dime to come to your conference. When is the last time that somebody was like, hire me to your business? When you, as someone who's a hiring manager, or you as someone who's trying to build a team or trying to think critically, somebody came to you and was like, hey, I don't need any benefits of this. Don't give me any money. I just want to work for you for years and years and years and years, all of the time, for $0. And they've been a normal person. Maybe once in a blue moon, not in an SMU situation, not in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Has somebody come to the table and said, please take us. If you allow us in your club, then we'll give you all of the money that we have. SMU has not been the same since the death penalty, but there's not an excuse for the death penalty. I want you to listen to that again. SMU has not been the same since the death penalty, but there is not an excuse because of the death penalty. I was not alive when that happened. You SMU, you have had 40 years to recover from this. 40 years to recover from the death penalty. You've seen so many teams in college football. Penn State, terrible scandal. Baylor, terrible scandal. Michigan State, terrible scandal. Even Northwestern, terrible scandal. Some of these even outside of football here, like Baylor basketball. And these teams have all recuperated over the course of time. These teams have all found a way back into the fold, into relevance in college athletics at some point in time or another, but not SMU. So this crutch of, the death penalty truly ruined SMU. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I was born 20 years after the death penalty. Not that long. It's 15 years maybe. And what? What is your excuse to be so bad? SMU has not won a conference championship since 1984, pre-death penalty. That is unbelievable. June Jones was the last one to have relative consistent success-ish. Right? Sonny Dykes could make a case, but June Jones, couple of Conference USA championship runs, they got close. Dykes took him to a few bowls. June Jones was fine. He kind of resurged the program. This has not been a bottom dweller by any means over the course of the last decade. It's not like we've all just thrown SMU completely to the wayside because they've been so bad, right? I think Dykes went to 4 bowl games. June Jones went to 4 or 5. Rhett Lashley, they played BYU last year in the New Mexico Bowl. Yes, highly coveted. That was BYU. Big 12 team BYU. They are not a legitimate power all time, have a losing record all time. And granted, their last 10 years of success have been fine, but they've resulted in the Hawaii Bowl, the Armed Forces Bowl, the BBVA Compass Bowl, the Frisco Bowl, the Boca Raton Bowl, the Fenway Bowl. What are we doing? Why is the ACC entertaining this? And why would the Big 12 ever entertain this? Because we've had this conversation of, the Big 12 added Houston and Cincinnati, UCF, BYU. They should have added SMU. I don't know. I think we might look down the road in 5 years and question whether or not the Big 12 should have added Houston. And that's no knock on Houston. That's a compliment. Here's what I mean by that. The Big 12 is in a position from a recruiting standpoint with the Texas schools. Houston's going to compete against Baylor and Texas Tech and Oklahoma State even, against BYU even, and TCU for recruits. It's going to hurt in-state schools when Houston starts winning recruiting battles in football. So what I'm trying to bring to you here is if you bring in SMU, you give them the Dallas Metroplex, I don't think they're going to out-recruit the long-standing Big 12 teams, but man, they're going to be a thorn in everybody's side. And guess what? They're not going to make you a lot of money. I know that bringing in Houston and Cincinnati wasn't a huge money-making decision. It wasn't these teams are certainly going to replenish Texas and OU. but they're profitable enough. And SMU at the point where the Big 12 is now with 16 teams, right? You've just added Colorado, you've added Arizona and Arizona State, you've added Utah. Do you respond to adding those teams by saying, all right, for our next trick, Southern Methodist University? Absolutely not. It'd be the stupidest thing you could do. There should be zero conversation moving forward about SMU and the ACC. They're begging you to get into their conference. They're wanting to go for free. They're wanting brand association. They're wanting to play those games for free. SMU to the ACC is the death of the ACC. So is Cal and Stanford. Florida State's not going to stick around for that. Clemson's not going to stick around for that. Miami's not sticking around for that. And SMU is not. There's no backup. Everybody knows now that SMU is trying to get out of the American Athletic Conference. Everybody knows. There is nothing they can do to say otherwise at this point. You burned every bridge, and for what? To get nowhere, because nobody's taking SMU. Sorry. Nobody's taking SMU. The Big 12's not, ever. I'm taking myself to FanDuel at Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.